Okay, so over the last year, I've spent 30 grand on my Amex Gold, and out of curiosity, I worked out what I would have earned holding the American version instead. And with the same spending, the US Amex Gold would have paid me 20,000 points more, and for doing nothing different. And what's worse is that here in the UK, this card is meant to be one of our better ones. So if this is getting beaten so badly, can you imagine how the rest would stack up? Chase, Capital One, Wells Fargo, American credit cards are wildly more generous, and it's not even close. And for a while, I thought it was just British banks being stingy, but it turns out that we have a law to thank for this. And once you understand what it means, you might actually think it's the Americans that are getting screwed and not us. But before any of that, I just want to start by showing you exactly how big the gap is, because it's so much worse than you think. So the US version of this gold card gives you 5 points per dollar on prepaid hotels, 4 at restaurants anywhere in the world, 4 on groceries, and 3 on flights. Then there's a dining credit worth $120 a year, $120 in Uber Cash, $100 in Resi Credit, which is a restaurant booking app, and get this, $84 of Dunkin' Donut credit. What surprised me the most was just how much food credit they've crammed into it. Honestly, I think this card should come with a diabetes disclaimer. And let's not forget the welcome bonus, which depending on how Amex is feeling about the taste of your cookies, can be as high as 100,000 points. 100,000 for signing up for what is a mid-tier card. And this is just one comparison. Like I can give you more, and it's in every single case, not even close. The American card is always superior. Take our Barclaycard Avios, arguably one of the better free cards for earning Avios. You're gonna get a welcome bonus and 1 point per pound, which could be close to earning 1% cashback depending on the redemption. And now compare it to the Capital One Savor, also free, but it gives you 3% cashback on dining and groceries and includes a welcome bonus, get this, of $250, which is roughly £188. And that's a cash bonus that you receive after spending $500 within 3 months. So you essentially get 50% off your spending up until that amount with no annual fee. How about Lloyds Ultra? Arguably the UK's best free rewards card right now, pays 1% on most purchases for the first year. There's no cap, and then it drops to 0.25%. It's not bad, I guess, but then compare it to the free Wells Fargo Active Cash card. You get a $200 welcome bonus, 2% cashback with no spending cap, and it doesn't just last for a year. I mean, I can just go on. And don't even get me started on the US Amex Platinum. That is their gold card on steroids. They are literally throwing credit at you. More food credit, more Uber Cash, $600 of hotel credit, $200 of airline credit, $300 at Equinox, which would probably cover 1 month, $300 at Lululemon. I mean, it's like the Oprah Winfrey of credit, you know? You get credit. You get credit, unless you're from the UK. And on top of all of that, you get unlimited lounge access, like we do in the UK. And, this is a good one, get this, the US Platinum has no foreign transaction fees. I mean, if there was ever proof that we're getting screwed in the UK, it's when Amex waives the 2.99% international fee for US customers. And to think that they market that card here as a luxury travel companion, all while pocketing a fee every time you transact. And that's without even factoring in, of course, that there's an Amex exchange rate built in, which has its own margin, but that's a whole other video. A couple of these American cards do cost a bit more. We should acknowledge that. The US Gold is about 60 quid more. Platinum is about £30 more depending on the exchange rate. But unlike the annual fees, which are relatively similar, how much you can earn on your spending, the welcome bonuses, the retention bonuses, the credit that you get, the American cards are hugely better. So why is this happening? And why are we all getting comprehensively screwed? Well, it all comes down to one word. Interchange. So every time you tap your card in a shop, the retailer pays a small interchange fee that goes to your card company and pays for the cashback or the Avios or the Amex points. And here in the UK, that fee is capped at 0.3%. Of course, America being the land of the free, there's no cap at all. And that runs, I think, at around 2%, but with some premium cards, it can be even more. So an American card company is earning 6, maybe 7 times more than a British one. So they have a lot more money to use to try and win your business, and that's why their cards feel so much better. But here's the part that really matters. We don't even have our own government to thank for that cap. It was an EU rule from 2015 which was kept after Brexit. Before that, the fee was actually closer to 0.9%, and it was an absolute bloodbath when it changed. Around a third of airline and hotel cards just vanished, so Emirates, Lufthansa, Etihad, United American Airlines, they all left, and all because the money that were funding those cards just dried up, except there was one exception to the new rule, or cap: American Express. You see, with most cards, there's a middleman. Your card provider sits on one side, the shop's bank sits on the other, and the fee is getting passed between them. But Amex doesn't have a middle. It's both the card provider and the network, so there is no fee to cap, which means they never lost access to that bigger pot of money, and in theory could be just as generous as they are in the States. So why aren't they? Well, besides greed, which I cannot prove, but that's my opinion, there's also a complete lack of competition here. In America, Amex is in a knife fight with Chase, Capital One, Citi, Wells Fargo. All of them are throwing points at you to win your business, while over here, Amex is basically on its own. Like, Chase did finally launch a UK credit card here, except the most exciting thing about it now is that it comes with 0% on purchases for the first 3 months, so they've essentially given us Klarna. To be fair, that's probably a bit harsh. It does give you 2% cash back on groceries and a few other categories, and if you max it out, you could earn £240 a year. That's not terrible, but let's be real, that's not going to force Amex to suddenly get generous. They've got no real rival and a very sticky customer base who they don't have to fight for. At least for now, because there is some hope that Revolut might launch a UK credit card and finally give Amex a run for their money. But honestly, I wouldn't hold your breath. If we're going off what they're doing in Europe, I would guess that a Revolut Ultra card would earn around 1.5 points per pound. So that's the same as the Barclaycard Avios Plus or the BA Amex Premium Plus card, except Revolut Ultra costs you close to £540 a year versus $240 and $300. Now, Ultra does throw in a load of other benefits, so it might end up being the most value-packed debit and credit card in the country, but you'd be funding those rewards through your account fee, not Revolut's generosity. Definitely don't hold out for a brilliant free card like the Americans are getting. It's just not gonna happen. Except maybe we shouldn't want what the Americans get, because they might actually be getting the raw deal. And to see why, you just have to ask who really pays the interchange fee, or the Amex fee. So in the States, every shop is handing over around 2% on every single card payment. And most of that is being passed onto the customer and baked into the price of everything. So that 4x we get, or you get on groceries, is obviously not free, and everyone is having to pay for it, including the bloke who's paying in cash, because it's not like he's gonna get a 2% discount. And he's probably never earned a point in his life while unknowingly chipping in so some of us can fly business class and have a nice flatbed. That is the dirty little secret of rewards. They are a tax that everyone pays, except only the biggest spenders ever really cash in, because the more you spend, the more points you earn, and essentially the bigger redemption value you can get. And that leaves us with an important question, one I'd like to know your answer. Would you rather, have big, flashy, American-style rewards and pay for them with slightly higher prices on everything, whether you use a rewards card or not? Or keep what we've got? Leaner rewards, but everything is allegedly less expensive. And here's the irony, and honestly the thing I've been looking forward to telling you the most. America might be about to find out exactly what we've been living with, because there is a bill going through Congress right now, the Credit Card Competition Act, and it's trying to force more competition into their card networks and reduce those interchange fees. Now, nobody knows if it'll actually pass, it's been stuck for a while, but if it does, the rewards will follow those fees straight to the bottom, and the golden age of the American credit card could be running out of road. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and if you want to watch something next, I made a whole video on why ethical investing is mostly nonsense, how ESG funds are a con, and what to actually do if you want to grow your money in something that's potentially more socially responsible. Click here to watch that next. Thank you very much.